Hello and welcome back to another Minecraft story time. I'm in bed right now. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I don't feel like getting up. I'm just gonna keep it a buck 150 with you. But there's a lot of things on my mind today because you know what? Have you ever had days where you just wake up irritated? And I feel like today was one of those days, bro. Like I'm just zoned out. It is currently 12 a.m. midnight, and I'm just zoned out, bro. So, if people don't know this, right? If you don't know this, I said in a previous episode that I'm an electrician, okay? And so we go to people's houses and we figure out what's going on. If you have a switch, your switch ain't working, your outlet not working, we fix it. You know, simple as that. You want to put up a new light, we got you. You want to your garage door ain't working, we got you. You know what I mean? We anything that has to do with electric, that's what we be doing. And today, also I apologize if my voice is a little weird. I'm recovering from having a terrible case of the sniffles. It was pretty life threatening, if I'm being honest with you. But we go to people's houses, and you know what's the craziest part of going to people's houses, bro? Is you get to really see people in their natural habitat. You know what I mean? And it really irks me because the thing is, right? If you have a messy house, you have a dirty house, that's your house, bro. I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to see why your outlet's not working, right? That's none of my business. But when you walk into somebody's house and it's extremely messy, I'm so sorry. But when you walk into someone's house and it's extremely like messy and everything, you like a small part of you can't help but judge a little bit because my mother is a clean freak. Both of my parents are actually. So they keep the house I live in because I'm living in their basement. But even growing up, our house has been pretty freaking immaculate at all times. So I'm so sorry for all these noises. But when I'm going from like house to house and we're doing all these stops, and I pull up, and as soon as you open the door to these people's house, the smell just hits you, and you're like, this is wicked. Because in our home, there's always candles lit, air freshener, you know what I mean, room spray, Glade plugins, like all of that. So when you go into these people's houses and it smell like ass and Swisher sweets, it's a bit crazy, bro. When you keep your house extremely clean and it smells good all the time, and then you go to someone else's house and it smells like Swisher sweets, it's a little annoying, bro. And it's not even that actually. The house that we went to earlier today was straight Marlboros, bro, like chain smokers. So I feel like this needed to be mentioned, and I wanted to tell this story. We went there today, and the house was unbelievably filthy, big dog. We get in there, right? And like I said, they were chain smokers, which, let me preface this again by saying it's none of our business what happens in someone's house. But if you're inviting me into your home to do work, it becomes my business, right? So we get in there, and the white walls they had were changing color due to the amount of nicotine in that house, right? I pet their dog, right? Here's the thing. I love animals. I have a very, very soft spot for animals. I love animals. So I'll pull up to the houses that's like the best part of the job, honestly, because we pull up to a house and they always have some kind of pet. So this German Shepherd runs up to me, cutest thing in the world, and I'm like, well, hello there, little guy. And I pet him real quick. My hand smelled like cigarettes, bro. And I'm like, no way, dog. Like, that's how thick it was in the air, bro. It's all you could smell. So it was just a wild experience. Had to change a couple outlets. Why not? Let's get that done. But the whole time my eyes are watering and I'm on bated breath, bro. Like I'm like struggling to get through this. That was a rough one. And that's not the only no. Let's go to the other side of the spectrum, right? That's not the only kind of houses that I dislike. We go to other houses that are in the more wealthier areas, okay? The bigger houses, the $1 million houses. We go to those. And you know what bothers me the most about those big ass houses? It doesn't smell like anything. And that really irks me. It smells like nothing. Right? No air freshener, no candles, no humans, nothing. It doesn't smell like anything. It just smells like a house. We got there and this $1 million home knocks on the door. These really nice old people open the door and it smelled like nothing. I was like, dog, what are we doing? Like, that bothers me too. Like, at least throw a few candles in there, like a couple Glade plugins. It's like $4. I mean, the refills are. If you want to get the whole pack, that's about like $6. But also, those prices have no need of going up. I doubt that you're losing business. Like, a lot of people get Glade plugins. There's no reason for it to be $12 for refills. That's kind of crazy, bro. But anyway, that's the other side of the spectrum that really bothers me. Is like, let's plug something in. It just smells like air. Like, I can't describe it. There's a scent in the air, but it's not anything. I don't know how to describe it. It's like water. It doesn't have a taste, but when you taste it, you know it's water, right? So that pisses me off. And the number one question we get is like, oh, you're an electrician? Do you ever like knock on the door and like a really hot woman opens the door? No. It never happens. I've been doing this for like almost 6 months now. I can promise you that does not happen. Literally ever, bro. You just get absolute creatures that you didn't even think exist. You open the door to some of these houses and you're like, damn, like God really just be making people like on creative mode, dog. It is crazy the type of things you'll see. But I have a lot of stories from doing that stuff. Let me tell you. I just got a notification that I have another subscriber. Hello. Anyway, pushing that big 13 subscribers. Hello. Excuse me. Next stop is like, I don't know, like maybe the hills in Hollywood. I'm just joking. But that we went to, and this guy this dude, bro, was so obsessed about everything being controlled by his phone. So every light, every bulb, every outlet, every light fixture, every appliance, everything needed to have the ability to be controlled by his phone. And the annoying thing about these type of lights is these things, since they can be controlled by your phone and they're Wi-Fi operated, every single thing that he's ordering has to be specially put in. And that's weird to us electricians because, yes, as the electricians, we should be prepared for anything. But when we pull up to a house, we're not thinking that this day is gonna go like this. We hear, oh, you want a couple lights thrown up. This is gonna be lightweight because we do this, I don't know, millions of times. So we're ready for this. And then you hit us with some specially ordered lights from Canada. They come in, they have special things. And the hardest part is like, to the normal person, they to this human why this light is weird, and they're just looking at you like, they're looking at you nodding like, right, and they have no idea what you're talking about. So that is like another big part of our job, is like trying to find ways not to dumb it down, but trying to find ways like, how can I explain electric to a 3-year-old and they would get it? I'm not saying that the customer is 3-year-olds, but like the average person, it would, before 6 months ago, before I started electric, if you looked at me and told me this plug can handle 20 amps, I would look at you and say, okay, like what does that have to do with me? Like, hello? Am I supposed to get that? So I get it. From like the customer's standpoint, I completely understand. So we have to find ways to explain how that works. And with these Wi-Fi lights, bro, he was so into the fact that he could dim his whole house with his phone. He had an app on his phone where it's like, this is the living room, this is the bedroom, this is the kitchen, I can dim it, I can do this with it, I can change the color. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, he wanted the whole house to be capable of like mood lighting, which is extremely interesting, but once again, not my business. And like I said, there's a lot of houses that are not our business. We go into this other house one time, more of the uppity houses, I would say upper middle class, I guess. It wasn't $1 million house, but it was like 600,000-700,000. So we went there. Dude was like, oh, there's an outlet in the basement that I need you to take a look at. And we're like, okay, cool. We go head down there. Brother, we get down there and there's a whole wall of adult fun items. Trying to say that in the easiest way here. There was an entire wall of items that are used for the Devil's Tango. And I mean up there like it's a display case, bro. A whole wall of it. And we're just like, alrighty then. And we're just doing this outlet in this basement, and we're like, dude, if these walls could talk, like, who knows what happens down here? But it's not our business. It's not our business to know. So we just changed that outlet and was like, hey, bro, good luck, man. Like, have a blast. Let us know if the outlet has any problems. We'll be back out here to fix it. That's another thing too. Another thing we have problems with doing electrical work is, you know, I feel like this is just a common decency thing, right? If you're inviting someone to your home, shouldn't you like, and let me know if I'm crazy for this, if you're inviting someone into your home, shouldn't you like clean the area a little bit? Like clean the area that you're gonna have these people working in? I feel like that makes sense. Like we had to get there, like we got to this one house, right? And the person was kind of a hoarder, right? So once again, I am open to the idea and understanding of the idea that when someone's a hoarder, there's most likely some underlying issues going on, right? So that's another thing that just isn't our business. But we get there, bro. And this gentleman is like, the outlet I need you to look at is also attached to this switch and is right over here. So I'm like, okay, cool, let's go take a look at it. There is a mountain of dirty clothes and old pizza boxes and old stuff, trash, whatever. There's just a mountain of miscellaneous stuff in front of the outlet. And I'm like, sir, I didn't say this to his face, I was thinking it, but I'm like, I don't know, you don't know what's in this pile, and I don't want to stick my hands into someone's like dirty laundry and trash and old pizza boxes, and I don't know what's in that pile. He was like, oh, forgive me if you have to move some stuff. I was like, sir, I'm not touching that. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. So what we ended up doing is I went, and I don't care. Listen. I know this sounds rude, but I don't care if it sounds rude. I got gloves. Some gloves just, just in case I have insulated gloves just in case it's hot. And by hot, I mean like it has power coming to it, you can get shocked, which doesn't feel great. So I just said I'm getting gloves for that reason. And he was like, okay. And things like mice shit. And you're just like, bro, why me, bro? And it's the worst feeling ever. And one thing that I absolutely despise, all right, this time I'm gonna get a little more serious. One thing I absolutely despise, because I have a soft spot for animals. If I'm petting your dog and my hand smells like cigarette smoke, I have a problem with that. Because why is my homie living in that? It's a dog. Like, they can't help themselves. They can't do anything for themselves. They have to live in those conditions. I went to this house one time. This dude had a giant dog. And her name was Freya, which is a awesome name for a dog. I wish I thought of that before. But he had a dog named Freya. And dude, this house smells so unbelievably bad. And her nails were so unkept that they were, when she put when she put her paw down to like greet you and stuff, and she was trying to stand up, she was slipping on herself because of how long her nails were. And the house smelled awful, and I'm just like, and it makes me upset when helpless animals have to live in certain conditions. That's my biggest pet peeve. I cannot stand that, bro. I can't stand it. So I'm just like, dog, come on, man. And I'm petting her, and I'm like, man, I'm whispering to her like, I'm so sorry. Like, I wish I could do something. Crazy big dog, though. This is another house that really irked me because we had to move his couch to we had to move his couch to get to an outlet that was because another thing our company does is we do this thing called rewires. And what a rewire is and what that means is houses that were built before the early 80s and 90s. I would say the early 90s. They don't have updated wire that's up to code. It can work for like 100 years, but that doesn't mean it's up to code, right? So new wire, which is like it's called Romex, that has it's just up to code. It has a hot, a neutral, so a black wire, a white wire, and a ground. And it's called 14.2. Because there's also like 12 wire, 10 wire, 6 wire, 8 wire, and the lower the number goes, the thicker the wire gets, basically. The problem with these older homes that were built before the 90s, the problem with that is they have rag wire, which is really, really old Romex, an older version of what the new up to code wire is, which is just 2 copper wires going down into a box, right? 2 copper wires, 2 conductors. That's good, bro. That's a good thing, right? But nothing is grounded. And what grounded means is there's a large copper rod outside of your home right now that is 10 feet long. And let me tell you, dude, you want to have a terrible day? Putting in those 10-foot ground wires will have you questioning every decision you've ever made in your life. I'm talking, it's a 10-foot rod, bro. You're out there in just regular dirt soil. Sometimes when it rains, it actually helps because it gets muddy. It just sucks because you're getting rained on, but you got to get that 10-foot pole so far into the ground that only a few inches of it, maybe 2.5 inches, are sticking out of the ground. So when we do that, we're out there with a mallet and a sledgehammer for maybe a few hours straight, just going nuts on it, trying to get that thing into the ground. And you may think it's not that hard, but once you get past the soil, remember it's 10 feet into the ground. So once you get past the soil, some homes have clay because depending on where you live, there's clay under the dirt. You can get the clay, you can hit rock, you can hit all these things. So it really sucks to get that into the ground. But what was I talking about? Okay. Those old wires were not grounded. And when you ground a house, you put that 10 feet pole into the ground, and then out of the meter where your panel is, where the electrical box is, some people call it a fuse box, but fuse boxes haven't been used since like the 60s. But it's a cool word for it, I guess. You take the ground out of that and you tie it to the ground that you just beat it 10 feet into the ground, right? That's why it's called a ground wire. So if you open up a wire, right? I'm going to give you guys a lesson real quick. I'm going to give y'all a little electrical lesson. When you open up a Romex, you have all of your conductors. You'll have a white, a white and a black, hot and a neutral. Hot is black, neutral is white. But if you have a 14.3 instead of a 14.2, that means there's 3 conductors in there. So you bring in a red wire as well. Anyway, we don't need to get that in depth though. I doubt you guys care that much. But when you have that, there's going to be one bare copper wire in each thing that you open. Reason being is because each one has a specific, even though it's all copper, right? One just has black sheathing on it. The other one has white sheathing on it. But they all have a specific purpose. The ground wire in every single device goes back to the panel, and that goes back to the 10 feet pole in the ground. Because the whole purpose of a ground wire is to catch stray voltage, right? That eliminates you from being shocked. That eliminates your appliances from being hit by surges, because it will catch that incoming voltage that doesn't need to be there, and it will track it and then put it into the ground and disperse it, right? That's the purpose of a ground wire. So if you ever look at a normal outlet, there's 2 coin slots, and then there's a circle at the bottom. That circle at the bottom is the ground, okay? If you have only a 2-prong where it's just the 2 slits, that is not grounded. So we have to go and change all that. That's what a rewire does. We gotta go fix all that so that you're no longer in danger. And where was I taught? Doing a rewire there is to fix all that, right? And there's also this thing called knob and tube, which is god awful to work with. It turns your hands completely black, and it's just horrible to work with. It's called knob and tube. It's literally just 1 conductor, and that's how they used to do stuff back in like the 40s and 50s. They would just bring over 1 conductor, boom, it's got power, congratulations. That's it. That's it. So we needed to obviously fix that. Anyway, back to this guy's house. You guys have no idea how many times I've paused this to cough my lungs out and then edit it out because I'm struggling. Anyway, back to rewires. So, back to this guy's house. So we get to this dude's house, right? And I told you about Freya and her nails and all that, and it was very, very, very smelly. That house smelled so bad that the 3 to get fresh air. That's how bad it was. And our eyes were watering. We moved this dude's couch, okay, to get to a couple outlets we needed to get to. He had those big like L-shaped sectional couches. We moved that, and this guy has hardwood flooring. We swept up so the guy is just staring at us like, yeah, I forgot about that. You forgot about that? Buddy, this is like a couple years worth. What do you mean you forgot about this? Like, and I was telling our supervisor that's on the scene, right? I was telling her, I'm not gonna lie to you. We shouldn't do this. Like, not the rewire, obviously we need to make our money. But we're cleaning various parts of the house to get to devices. And I'm like, we're leaving this dude's house cleaner than when we got here. And that makes me upset, because I'm like, you're sitting here watching strangers sweep, mop, and clean your house for you. And I was getting violently upset, because I'm like, dude, that's not our profession, bro. Our profession is electric. And we're cleaning your house just to get to the devices and outlets that we need to get to. I was, oh boy, I was pretty upset. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was pretty upset. And that's the part of the job that's like interesting is, like I said before, going and seeing people in their natural habitat is always an interesting experience. Always. Like, you go to this one person's house, we knock on the door, and they're surprised that we're there. And they're like, oh, I completely forgot that you guys were coming. Ma'am, you called us yesterday and set up an appointment. Like, how are you, like, mind blown that we're here. But it's wicked, bro. It's a very interesting uh career path, I can tell you that. Because the way the economy is getting, everything is expensive, nothing is cheap, and customers kind of see it that way too, where we're like, hey, it's gonna cost you this much money for like us to come and do a bunch of work here. And they'll be like, really? It's that much? And I'm like, yeah. I'm sorry to tell you, I wish it wasn't. But yeah, it's pretty expensive. And the sucky thing is, like, that's not up to us, right? Us two guys are out here like, hey, it's gonna cost this much because we just called the office and told them all the work that we're about to do. And when we do work at someone's house, you have to think about it. They have to take into account labor, materials, us driving 30 minutes out to your house, how long it's gonna take us to get it done. So, and how expensive materials are. A lot of people don't think about that. They think about, okay, but it's just an outlet. I was like, buddy, I need to run a new wire to your outlet. And 100 feet of 12 wire is over $100. So we still need to make a profit, right? So when you factor all those things in, it's gonna run your pockets a little bit. Like a rewire, for example, changing all the wiring in your house, depending on your house and the size of your house, you're looking at $20,000 to $30,000 to do all that. Now, do I see that? No, I make close to minimum wage, but the company sees it. I mean, I guess that's pretty cool. Um, and we get tips sometimes. That's pretty interesting. Oh, one thing I can talk about is um this haunted house, right? So I swear to you, this house was haunted. I promise. Only me, my two buddies, only we believe that it's haunted because we were the ones who were there and had to work there. Let me tell you how creepy this freaking house was. We show up, right? Soon as we show up, this old lady, soon as we put the car in the truck, our work truck, as soon as we put it in park, on the side of the road, and it was a neighborhood too. It wasn't like on the side of the street. It was like a residential. And as soon as we put our truck in park, there's an old lady looking at us from the top floor. At the top of the window, there's a woman just staring at us, not blinking, solid eye contact. I'm talking no blinking, bro. Just staring at us. And I'm just like, I'm freaking out. I'm like, dude, I'm not walking. I looked at my buddy. I was like, dog, we're not going in this house, dude. Drive off, dog. We're not doing it. But, you know, we're a company. We got to get up in there and make that money. You know what I mean? So I was like, damn, dude. So we're walking up to the house. Lady's just staring at us. Won't stop. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, have mercy on me, please. Knock on the door. Old dude opens up. And he's like, can I help you? And I was like, we're blank electric. We're here to start a few things. And that's not me just forgetting my words. That's word for word how I said it because I was terrified. And I was like, we're here to work on a few, because this whole time you can look up and see this woman staring at us still. So I would like glance up and he would be like, oh, forgive my wife. She's going through a few things. And I was like, okay. And I was looking at him like, define going through a few things. And she was like, and he was like, she's not she's not how she used to be. And I was like, okay. Before we dive any deeper into that, let's just take a look at what you got for us, big dog. I feel like that's a can of worms. So He walks us in there, and I'm getting chills and goosebumps just thinking about it. I will never go to a house like this ever again. He walks us in there, bro. And the house just has that feeling. I'm telling you right now, I'm not over exaggerating. We walk into this house, and that feeling of a haunted house is just in your chest. Like your goosebumps are going off, haywire. Your goosebumps are going off. You're feeling weird. You feel like something's looking at you, something's watching you. That woman was watching us, so that it gave us that feeling. She was not only doing that from the window. We walk through the house, and she's looking at us like that from the top of the staircase now. And we're just getting chills. And I keep looking at my buddy. I'm like, bro. Oh, God. So he leads us down to the basement. Of course, that's where this needs to be done. Leads us down to the basement to look at a light fixture that he needed changed. Bro, the basement was unfinished. And it looked like the inside of a prison in like the 14th century in a castle. I'm talking like stone walls, right? Stone walls, big ass metal doors, in his basement. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, dog, are you kidding me? Like, are you genuinely kidding me? Pitch black down there because that fixture, the light, is what we're fixing. So it's pitch black. We have no power down there. And I'm like, dog, pitch black. So he's like, okay, I'm going to leave you guys to it. And you know what he said? Do you know what he said? He said, I'm going to leave you guys to it. And I'm going to try to keep my wife up here. I'm going to let that sink in for a second. And I looked at him and I was like, dog, you're going to have to do a lot more than try. If she comes down here, I'm shitting myself and leaving. So keep her up there, bro. We're doing this light, right? We're figuring out, okay, the electrical panel's over here. And if this isn't getting voltage, then we probably have to run a new wire to it. So let's get that done. Good thing about unfinished basements like that, the top of the wall is just open joists like rafters. So we can just take a wire from the panel and just easily run it to that light real quick. One problem. Whole time we were in there, we're hearing things. We're hearing running. We're hearing footsteps. We're hearing doors close. Mind you, he's upstairs. We're in the basement. We're hearing all that stuff downstairs. We're hearing all of these things. My friend still swears to this day that something touched him, and he sprinted over to where I was, and he freaked me out. So we're hearing things the whole time. We have our just working on this light, literally firing through it because we want to get out of this basement so freaking badly. And we weren't even done, by the way. We had to get that done in the basement and then move up to the top floor where his demon of a wife was. So that was just waiting for us. We just knew that. We're like, Jesus, please. So we get that done, right? And while we're getting that done, we're hearing all these things. We were looking around, and the only light that we're getting is the natural light that's coming from like small basement windows at the very top, like near the ceiling, because that's where ground level was. That's the only lighting that we're getting. So we're hearing things constantly. And we're hearing doors close because hold on, gotta itch myself. Itchies. And we're just hearing stuff close. Mind you, none of these doors were opening and closing. None of them. But we were hearing it. We heard it multiple times. And there's a couple times we put our tools down and sprinted to the entrance, just like, dog, we have to get this done. We have to get this done. Let's be men. Let's be men. We have to get this done. Go back in there. We're like, fine, dude. Throw this light fixture up, hook it up real quick, get the hot, the neutral, the ground. I mean, they don't really need the ground, but ground the box, which is a metal box because you're putting it in stone. And here's the thing, right? To get the wire all the way to the panel, so you got to get a hammer drill, which is like a jackhammer but in your hand. You're like, you got to get through there. So that took us an extra time, but we finished that. And let me tell you, we sprinted out of that basement. Oh my lord. Got up to the top, and everything you can think of in a haunted house was in this house. There was random dolls. There was stuff on the wall. There was wallpaper. Some of it was peeling. It was just, everything about this was just awful. And couldn't find his wife, by the way. We get up to the first floor out of the basement. It was a 2-story home. So we get to the first floor, and then the second floor is the top floor. And he's like, oh, thank you guys so much for the lighting down there. I'm like, yeah, of course. And then he was like, all right, now here's the next thing I need you to do. Couple outlets in my master bedroom. I need you guys to take a look at if that's okay. And we're like, all right, let's run it up. Let's do it. We're already here. Let's do it. Me and my friend walk up he has a spiral staircase. Not super tight spiral like a lighthouse, but like, we go up there, right? And dude, I mean, we were already there. I didn't mean that. We're in this bedroom. We come out of the bedroom to see if there's any outlets in the hallway, because if there is, we can take power from that. And we can see if those outlets are messed up too. So we're like, okay, we need to test those outlets as well. We get out there, right, to this outlet, and bro, his wife, not the nun that was in The Conjuring 2, I think, frame for frame, that's what she did. We got out to the hallway. She's looking down the hallway at us, not moving. I'm telling you, I cannot prove this. I need to start going to work with a GoPro, because we're just staring at her frozen, and we're like, okay. And she randomly snaps out of it, and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm going to go to this room. And we're like, okay, we're just gonna check this outlet. And she's like, okay, let me know if you need anything. Turned into a completely different person. She just snapped out of it and just went to the other room. And she was like, let me know if you need anything because he's heading out. Can you imagine how devastating that news was to us? Our only sane person is leaving and we're with this psycho? So I'm just like, oh no. And I see his car pull off, and I'm like, dude, we're alone with this woman who's been haunting us the whole time. And my buddy's just like, dude, just be professional, act professional. We got to get this stuff done, and we can leave. We can head out. And I was like, okay. We put in the two devices, the two outlets, and we got to go knock on her door because we're done and we need to collect payment. We gotta, we gotta get paid for the work we just did. So we go over there and we did rock, paper, scissors in the hallway because my buddy was like, dude, I'm not knocking on that door. I was like, I'm not either, dude. Fuck that. And we play rock, paper, scissors and I lost. So I knocked on the door, knocked 3 times. And I'm telling you guys, this is directly out of a scary movie. Knock 3 times, the door automatically opens because it was already kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Cracked open. So I just knocked 3 times and it opens, and she is just beaming out of a window, like looking at something locked in. I knock a couple more times on the door. No response. I try saying, excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me. Nothing. Nothing. At all. There was something, this woman was genuinely possessed. Like, and I don't say that lightly. I'm just saying, from what I've experienced, something was wrong. Something. And I'm like, ma'am, no, nothing. No response. Just staring out the window, locked in. And then my buddy comes up beside me and he's like, excuse me, ma'am, like a little bit louder. And you see her shake a little bit and like snap out of it. And she's like, oh, hi, are you guys done with it? And I'm like, dude, what is happening? And we're like, yes, ma'am, we're done. The 2 outlets are now working. We threw new ones in there for you. Just let us know if anything else happens. We're just now collecting payment. It costs this much. Cash, check, card, however you want to do it. And we looking at any other part of this house. Funny enough, guess what happens? She comes to the front door and says, before you guys leave, can you take a look at something? And I'm like, oh. So we follow her into the bathroom that's on the first floor, right? And guess what happens? We walk past this woman who I didn't even know was there. We didn't even know there was another person in the house. And immediately like flinches and is like, who are they? Why are they here? And the lady looks at me and she's like, I'm sorry, Like, think of, you know, ancient Chinese tradition. They had those super powdered, like, white faces with the red eye makeup and the hair stuff. There was one of those on the wall, a giant mask. As soon as you open the door, it's staring directly at you. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, can anything else happen in this house? We open the door to that. And she was like, well, this switch right here has always been a little wobbly. Just wondering if that's a problem and if you could possibly fix it. And that was easy. I mean, you take the cover plate off and you just tighten it and you're good. It was a relatively new switch too, so we didn't have to replace it. You're like, you're good, bro. Don't even worry about it. We didn't charge her for that either, because you shouldn't have to charge money for just something we can do with a screwdriver. We just tightened it. And we finally left that, moved on from that, and that's the end of the story when it comes to that haunted house. That's what happened to us there. I realize this episode is closer to an hour long, so look at that go. That's gonna be fun to render and upload. That's gonna take quite a while, but man, I have more stories because let me tell you right now, the things that I've seen from this profession. It's not even stories like that are just scary. I mean, just blatantly weird, questionable things that we've seen that just no one should have to see, is what I'm saying. That whole experience shouldn't have happened. Okay? Let me tell you, creepy things like that happen quite often in our profession, which is crazy. Crazy. And that's what makes me tell people, you never know what's going on in people's houses. Ever. Ever. Because it's not just things like that are more obvious. There are subtle things that we've come across that scared the daylights out of me. We went to this woman's house one time, right? Another woman, younger woman this time. She was around my age. She was, I think, I'm 24. She was closer to 30. Went to this woman's house, right? Opened the door, come in. She said, I need help in the basement. I said, okay, cool, let's do it. And we go down to the basement. She wanted some outlets put in. Easy day. So that's not the problem. The work isn't the problem. Listen to me very carefully. We get to her basement. Open the door. Sorry. We get to the basement and open that door. When we get down there, she has a room she tells us not to go near. Right? There's a metal door to that room, and there's a lock on the outside. Are you kidding me? There's a lock. It locks from the outside, which means you're keeping something in, not keeping something out. And we're just looking at it for a second. She's like, don't mind that. She's so nonchalant. Oh, don't mind that door. Don't go near it. The two outlets are going to be over here. You don't even have to go near that room. And we were like, alrighty then. I'm telling you, goosebumps. All the hair on my neck is standing up. All the hair on my arms. And I'm like, no way. And it wasn't just a normal door to a normal room, maybe a closet. No, I'm talking like a heavy duty metal door with a side bar that locks it. I mean, Captain America couldn't get out of that room. It was a heavy sliding lock on the outside. Batman couldn't have got out of there. And I'm looking at my buddy and I'm like, what did we just witness? Because, excuse me, if I hear anything from that room, the police are being called immediately, without hesitation. So that was one. Second one, this is the last one too. I'm gonna end the episode here. I'm not gonna make it longer than an hour. I'm gonna try not to. But this one, like, I have a lot of stories from work. This next one is the last one. We went to this lady's house, bro. And we go to this person's house, and once again, in a basement. Nothing good happens in a basement. But a lot of the newer construction homes, they have unfinished basements. So there's still some work to be done down there. Some outlets they want to add, lights they want to hang. A lot of newer houses, which to me, in my personal opinion, is crazy. Because if I'm paying you 7, 8 community, that basement better be finished. And there's a lot of times you can choose that you don't want to finish basement. Some people don't want to finish basement. But me, if I'm paying you anything above like the normal price up until closer to $1 million, buddy, there better be carpet, there better be drywall, there better be a finished basement down there. Anyway, we get down to their basement. Super nice family, by the way. The dad was the weird one. He had a couple kids and a really nice wife. And we go down there. She offered us like soda and water and everything. We're like, oh, thank you. Let me get some. Get down there, and let me ask you, if this makes sense. We get down there, and this person has a trap door, a cellar, right? I'm assuming it's a cellar. But we get down there, and this person, this homeowner, has a trap door in the corner of a basement. We're already underground. We're already below ground level. How do you have a trap door in a basement? Where is it going? And do you know what scares me the most of these houses? Is maybe because I watch too many Netflix documentaries. I like true crime documentaries. I just don't trust anyone. But what freaks me out the most about these places is when those things like that arise, like suspicious things. A giant metal door with a sliding lock that the Hulk would have trouble breaking out of. Or a trap door that flaps open like a Minecraft trap door. And you're sitting there and you're like, I'm in the basement already. I'm already on like below ground level. When those things happen, the creepiest part is the fact that the homeowners are always on edge. Like, oh, don't go near that. You don't need to go near that. You don't need to touch that. And I'm like, ma'am or sir, I don't want to. I want to leave and go to church because I'm scared. I need to go pray. So, oh my goodness. I have a lot more stories when it comes to that. If you do enjoy these stories, please let me know. Comment what you think. Please like and subscribe. Also, it helps the channel. But if you do enjoy those stories, I have a lot more. Please let me know. I mean, I'm always, it's just pushing a button. It's just hitting record and talking. It's like midnight, like I said, because I work all day. But I do have a lot more stories. So if it is something that you are interested in, let me know. I got a lot more. But it's already past an hour long, and I'm not gonna keep it going. I'm gonna end it here. But I hope you have a good one. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And like I said, I never said this, but on my description of my channel, I have my schedule: Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. That's the upload schedule. I upload at 3 o'clock on all those days because on the off days, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I can record and try start writing, I don't know, some script. I've started writing a little bit of not really script to these videos, but more like bullet points to keep me on track and keep me like yeah, like on track and like on topic, because I feel like in my last video, little self-reflection, I feel like on my last video there was a lot of points where like, and I wasn't proud of this, I was like, I'm always trying to see how I can better myself in my videos. And in my last video, there was a lot of points where I was like saying filler words and filler things to keep the story going. And I hated that. I feel like in this episode, it was a lot more authentic and a lot more genuine. And my last episode was genuine too, but I feel like there was a lot of filler content. And I wasn't proud of that. I didn't like that. So I'm looking to change that. Bullet points, keep myself on track, have good stories to share, all that type of stuff. So if you do go on to like those stuff and like the video that I just made right now, please like and subscribe, or instead of that, comment what you think I can do better, because that's kind of my entire goal is to do this the best that I can. So just let me know. Have a good one, and I'll see you on the next one.